Every generation since the Greeks have felt that things have never changed so fast. They've never witnessed such blinding innovation. The difference is this time it may be true. And we anticipate even more powerful changes in the next 10 years, up to 2020. To really understand how the Internet's going to change our lives in the future, we can look briefly at what it's done to this point. The Internet, even though it's technically 40 years old, for the way most of us are using the Internet, it's about 15. And the majority of the billion users around the world have been on less than that. And already what we've seen is transformation on a level never anticipated. What caught us off guard are the things we never could have anticipated. User-generated content, that literally every one of the billion and more people who are online could become publishers. To paraphrase Andy Warhol, Internet users don't care anymore about 15 minutes of fame. What they're interested in is 15 megabytes of fame. We think advertising is really essential to the support of digital content. There's only 3 ways to acquire content. You can steal it, and even those who steal it acknowledge that's not a very good business model. You can pay fees or subscriptions, or you can get it accompanied by advertising. And we believe that most digital content, at least in the next 5 to 8 years, if it's going to survive, is going to be through advertising. You know, one of the things we've seen since the early days of television is people talk about how much they don't like advertising. And yet, when you ask them if they're willing to pay fees or subscriptions to avoid that advertising, they're not. So we really believe, with all of the digital content that's out there, that people will prefer advertising to fees. And then when you add to that the ability of digital to target advertising, to know within the constraints and appropriateness of privacy a little bit about you, and to be able to direct ads to you that are relevant, that are based on things you're interested in, makes advertising potentially even more appealing. You can actually, literally direct, if there's 4 sets in the house and 4 different people watching it, a different ad to each set in the house based on who's watching it. The most famous quote in the history of advertising, it's almost a cliche now, is the quote from John Wanamaker, who said that we know that half our advertising budget is wasted. We just don't know which half. What targetability allows is for you to know which half, and to only target your ads not to the half, but to the 5%, 10%, 20% who are really interested in what you have to say. I don't think everything is going to be free. I think a lot of things are going to be free with advertiser support, but I think there's going to be some content that is so uniquely valuable that people will be willing to pay for it. And what we're looking at is, what is that content? Highly proprietary financial information seems to be one thing people will pay for. Intelligence, information that's not available to the general public, people will pay for. Lots of things will be free. Free is a good business model, but ultimately I don't think everything is free.